All right, welcome to Prep Sports Junkies. I'm Scott Burnstein along with the big fella Jeff Dullack. Reunited. We've done some stuff together in the past. We've been away from each other for about a year and a half. Got back together for state champs to do these weekly video casts that we're going to do, bringing you every Friday, where we're going to be breaking down pressing football news of the day. Today we're going to discuss the Mr. Football race and dark horses. So state champs has the top 10 for the Mr. Football race in 2015 already set, but Jeff and I are going to throw out some names today of some guys that haven't made that top 10 but could very easily be turning heads and climbing their way up the ladder into that top 10 before you know it. So JD, break down a couple guys that you like right off the bat.
For starters, Hunter Boersma from Muskegon Mona Shores. He's a wide receiver, 6'2", a guy who just really goes and gets the ball. He was a key weapon for Mona Shores last year when they made their special run to the Division II state final. He was the go-to guy for Tyree Jackson, quarterback that's now at Buffalo. Now he's going to be tasked with trying to break in the new quarterback, Tyler Trovinger, and I think he's going to be a really big key for getting that offense up and running early on in the season.
All right, let's move it back over here, and I'm going to talk about maybe a player that's more in the Metro Detroit area. Let's talk about Martell Pettaway, new running back of Detroit King. He's been at St. Clair Shores Southlake the last couple years at a quieter program. Now he's at a more high-profile program, but this guy is like a new era version of Jerome the Bus Bettis. He loves going up in between the tackles. He loves contact. Last year he ran for about, I think, over 1,300 yards. He's a workhorse back, and you're really going to, from what I hear for the King coaching staff, you're really going to be using him as a table setter to then go deep with that Washington to Donnie Corley connection. And I don't think, as a power runner in the state of Michigan, I don't know if you have a better one than Martell Pettaway.
Right, and what's special about Pettaway is I don't think a whole lot of people, gave a lot of fanfare when he went over to King this year, but he's going to be the glue guy that keeps that offense together. The guy that defenses have to focus on, and when everybody starts stacking the box, they're going to really be able to open up on the outside.
I saw this kid as a sophomore, kind of, I think, on the same couple days that I saw Dalen Hayes, and I sat. Both of these guys are, names to watch, even though they might not have been the guys that have been getting all the hype.
Absolutely.
And then eventually they got a lot of hype. Right. So JD, give me another name.
Ade Ogundeji. I'm sure I got that wrong in some way, but. He's a defensive end with Walled Lake Central. He's committed to Notre Dame. He was a bit of an unknown going into the summer. He went to some camps and just took off and had some big offers come out to him. He's a pass rushing threat every time he puts his hand in the ground. He's a guy that knows how to get after the quarterback and knows how to just really disturb an offense's rhythm. He
was a Western Michigan commit and then decommitted and then had just a flood of FBS offers. Oregon offered him. Right. He's one of these kids that has a real high test scores. When I talked to him after he committed to Notre Dame, he's talking about how he's equally excited about the academics than he is the athletics. In terms of upside, I think in the last, let's say, 8 to 10 years, I haven't seen a defensive end with the upside of Ade Ogundeji going to the next level. Now, he's not a guy like a Khalid Kareem over at Harrison who's going to Alabama who's going to get you 20 sacks this year, but he's a guy that could get you 10, and then when you get to the college level, he could just be tearing out. He's a young kid. He's only 16 right now. I think the sky's the limit for Ogundeji.
He's an athletic freak, and I think that's one thing that translates to the college game well for him, where he's really going to flourish after he gets past high school. He's great in high school, but he may be even better, 2-3 years from now when he gets to the college level.
Yeah, another name you got to be aware of, another Western Michigan commit that decommitted and is now back on the open market from Chippewa Valley, Stephon Claiborne. Wide receiver, defensive back. I believe he committed as a cornerback. He's one of those just natural athletes, playmakers, finds his way around the ball, can catch it in the open field and do damage, and then just is real locked down in the pass game. I think he's a kid that could land in the Big Ten before it's all said and done. I'm just a big fan of his, and I kind of knew when he committed to Western it might not be that. It might have just been a holding spot, and that's really what it was.
And he's a guy, along with their quarterback, Barringstool, those two are going to put up some monumental numbers this year for that offense, just really picking their way apart defenses.
So let's just wrap up by just throwing out a couple other names there. Don't go as in-depth into them, but just names to keep aware of. Nolan Erickson from Clarkston going for that three-peat. Another one of these guys that loves contacts, loves going up in between the tackles. Another guy I really like that's really not getting much fanfare at all, Kyle Thomas, the dual threat quarterback from Walled Lake Western. He's just going to be another stat monger this season. He racked up over 3,000 combined yards from scrimmage last year. I think he's going to do it again this year, possibly more. Right. A couple names from you.
Caleb Perry, the wide receiver from Mount Pleasant. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got great hands, and he's going to, last year for Mount Pleasant they weren't right where they want to be. This is the year, and in order for them to have that big year, Caleb Perry is going to be a key part of that offense. And Cedric Boswell from Birmingham Groves just burst out on the scene last year.
You want to talk about a burner?
Right. He's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. He makes guys miss in the hole. He's the total package as a running back.
Yeah, he had 1,300 yards last year. Is committed to Iowa as a cornerback, but pound for pound in Metro Detroit, not many better running backs and home run threats in the backfield than Cedric Boswell. Absolutely. So we'll be back next week breaking down some more local football action. I'm just excited to be back. I'm excited to be at state champs. I'm excited to be with the big fella again. Reunited, and it feels so good. So we'll see you next week at state champs. I'm Scott Burnstein and Jeff Dullack. Talk to you later.